Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Antarashna Bhavatam Ki Jai. So today's verse
1, 3, 41. 41, sorry.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Tadidam grahayam asam.
Asam.
Tadidam grahayam asam. Sutam atma vatam varam. Sutam atma vatam varam. Sarva vedetiha sanam. Sarva vedetiha sanam. Saram saram samudritam. Saram saram samudritam. Tadidam grahayam asam. Sutam atma vatam varam. Sarva vedetiha sanam. Saram saram samudritam.
Tadidam grahayam asha.
Tadidam grahayam asa.
Sutam atmavatam varam.
Sutam atma vatam varam.
Sarva vedestina sanam.
Sarva vedetiha sanam.
Saram saram samudratam.
Saram saram samudritam.
Tad idam grahayam asa.
Tadidam grahayam asa.
Sutam atma vatam varam.
Sutam atma vatam varam.
Sarva vedetiha sa.
Sarva vedetiha sanam.
Saram saram samudrita.
Saram saram samudritam. Tat, that,
That
idam,
this
grahayam asa,
grahayam asa
made to accept, sutam, unto his son, atmavatam,
Atmanadam,
the self-realized,
varam,
most respectful, sarva,
all
Veda, Vedic
the Vedic literatures,
books of knowledge,
the books of knowledge,
itihasanam,
of
all the histories,
all the histories,
saram, cream, saram, cream, samudritam, taken out. Translation and purport, Divine Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vyasadeva delivered it to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized. After extracting the cream of all Vedic literatures and histories of the universe, purport. Men with a poor fund of knowledge only accept the history of the world from the time of Buddha, or since 600 BC, and prior to this period, all histories mentioned in the scriptures are calculated by them to be only imaginary stories. That is not a fact. All the stories mentioned in the Puranas and Mahabharata, etc., are actual histories, not only of this planet, but also of millions of other planets within the universe. Sometimes the history of planets beyond this world appears to such men to be unbelievable, but they do not know that different planets are not equal in all respects, and that therefore some of the historical facts derived from other planets do not correspond with the experience of this planet. Considering the different situations of different planets and also time and circumstances, there is nothing wonderful in the stories of the Puranas, nor are they imaginary. We should always remember the maxim that one man's food is another man's poison. We should not therefore reject the stories and histories of the Puranas as imaginary. The great rishis like Vyasadeva had no business putting some imaginary stories in their literatures. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, historical facts selected from the histories of different planets have been depicted. It is therefore accepted by all the spiritual authorities as the Mahapurana. The special significance of these histories is that they are all connected with the activities of the Lord in a different time and atmosphere. Srila Shukadeva Goswami is the topmost personality of all the self-realized souls. And he accepted this as the subject of studies from his father Vyasadeva. Srila Vyasadeva is the great authority on the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam being so important. He delivered the message first to his great son Srila Shukadeva Goswami. It is compared to the cream of the milk. Vedic literature is like the milk ocean of knowledge. Cream or butter is the most palatable essence of milk, and also is Srimad Bhagavatam, for it contains all palatable, instructive and authentic versions of different activities of the Lord and his devotees. There is no gain, however, in accepting the message of the Bhagavatam from the unbelievers, atheists and professional reciters who make a trade of Bhagavatam for the layman. It was delivered to Srila Shukadeva Goswami, and he had nothing to do with the Bhagavatam business. He did not have to maintain family expenses by such trade. Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore, be received from the representative of Shukadeva, who must be in the renounced order of life without family encumbrance. Milk is undoubtedly very good and nourishing, but when it is touched by the mouth of a snake, it is no longer nourishing. Rather, it becomes a source of death. Similarly, those who are not strict in the Vaishnava discipline should not make a business of this Bhagavatam and become a cause of spiritual death for so many hearers. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that the purpose of all the Vedas is to know him, Lord Krishna. And Srimad Bhagavatam is Lord Krishna himself in the form of recorded knowledge. Therefore, it is the cream of all the Vedas, and it contains all historical facts of all times in relation with Sri Krishna. It is factually the essence of all histories. Sri Vyasadeva delivered it to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized. After extracting the cream of all Vedic literatures and histories of the universe. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. So, this part of the first canto, chapter 3, is basically glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. So, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada starts with explaining how people in general who are not devotees, who are not practicing devotees, they are like scientists and historians and people of the kind, they don't take Srimad Bhagavatam seriously. They are not thinking it's a real true stories. And Prabhupada explains a little bit further in the purport that because the stories which are depicted in Srimad Bhagavatam are happening not just on this planet, but also on other planets and at different times. Some maybe in other yugas. So, of course, it's impossible for a scientist to scientifically prove the truth of these stories. This is why faith is required. Without faith, we cannot even start spiritual life. I mean, how can a scientist who has no faith get the real knowledge of Bhagavatam? He will reject everything. So, yeah, Srimad Bhagavatam is a really an important aspect of spiritual life. We know that it's one of the main items of devotional service, like chanting the holy name, reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai Shri Govinda ki jai, Shri Radha Govinda Balaram ki jai, Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai. So this is why Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, has emphasized very profoundly the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this verse, it's explained that the first person who delivered it was Srila Vyasadeva, and he delivered it first to his son. We know the story how when he was in his mother's womb, he heard Srimad Bhagavatam and became completely self-realized. And the glories of Bhagavatam are actually practically unlimited. It's not different from Krishna, just like the holy name is not different from Krishna. Prabhupada explains the Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Lord Krishna. And some places in India, some Vaishnavas, they worship, literally they do arti to Srimad Bhagavatam, just like we do arti to the deities, because there's no difference. But of course, the main way to receive, to get the benefit from Srimad Bhagavatam is not only, of course, worshipping it, respecting it, understanding that it's not different from Krishna, but of course, hearing it from the pure devotees preferably, and from devotees in general, and of course, Prabhupada explains in the last part of the purport, it should never be heard from atheists, non-devotees, because it will, instead of purifying, it will contaminate us. It will act like poison. This highest cream of Srimad Bhagavatam can be relished by constantly hearing from it, from the lips of pure devotees. And actually, it's the easy way to realize God. It's explained that we can realize Krishna simply by hearing submissively to to Srimad Bhagavatam, to the stories depicted in Srimad Bhagavatam, which are stories about Lord Krishna himself and about his pure devotees. And so, yeah, Srila Prabhupada explains that actually it's real histories. And yeah, as I was explaining in the beginning, it's a question of faith. Devotees are hearing every day Srimad Bhagavatam, and they are getting so much benefit. And by discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada explained that we will become more and more purified, and we will relish it more and more. And yeah, sometimes we see that even sometimes devotees, they hear from mundane sources some type of knowledge, like of course when now we have so much internet facilities, so we can get informations But some of them, or many of them, we will see how they are contradictory to Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have to make a choice. Are the scientists correct, or is Srimad Bhagavatam correct? Is Prabhupada correct, or the scientists correct? So if we have any doubt, and then it's a pity, because we will not get the benefit unless we have faith. There's a verse not in Srimad Bhagavatam, but that Prabhupada often quotes, Yasya deve parabhaktir yata deve tata guru tasyate katita yartam pakasyante mahatmanaha, that the knowledge is revealed to those who have implicit faith in Guru and Krishna. So the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam will not be revealed to us unless we have faith, actually. So, yeah, it's very, very important. Sometimes we think that the world is, I mean, they're making so much efforts. We see the government, the heads of governments, the leaders of society in every country, they are so bewildered. They are so bewildered, and we can see all the Vaishnavas. They can see how because of their ignorance, chaos is present everywhere. And if only, and it's so easy. We feel like it's so easy. We can just tell the heads of states, you know, this is the fact. Srimad Bhagavatam says we have to worship God. If we worship God, everyone will be happy. The whole world will be happy. But they have no faith, so we cannot tell them. So that's how to change the world. How to change the world if the leaders have no faith, absolutely no faith. Now Modi is distributing Bhagavad Gita, and the Indian government is distributing Bhagavad Gita, which is a very good thing. To the world leaders, which is very nice, which is wonderful. But of course, will they read it? Will they read it, and will they apply it? Will they understand it, and will they apply it? This is also something important. But of course, it's when it's given by pure devotees, it's so purifying that automatically we gain more faith, and then we want to apply it. And then when we apply it, we get some realizations. And when we get realizations, and we want to hear more, the Srimad Bhagavatam, we want to hear more, and become purified, and develop love for Krishna, which is the ultimate goal of life. Prema Pumarto Mahan, and that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's statement, the ultimate goal of life. Whatever we are doing is to try to purify ourselves, to develop at least some even a little bit of affection for the Lord, a little bit of understanding, a little bit of knowledge. Like this, Prabhupada also often states that Janma karma chami divyam. If we understand in truth the facts about Lord Krishna, his birth, his activities, that they are transcendental. But the non-devotees, they don't believe that Krishna is transcendental. They think he's an ordinary man, he's an ordinary person, so they cannot get any benefit. So devotees all over the world, they are doing Harinam, they are distributing books, because even if persons at the present moment cannot immediately understand and have faith in the scriptures, that purifies the atmosphere of the planet. Like Prabhupada is stating in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I think chapter 24, verse 10, if I'm not mistaken, how imperceptibly I don't know the word, imperceptibly. That means without us really noticing, I mean, it's because it's subtle. In a subtle way, the Harinam, the chanting of the devotees, the distribution of knowledge, the distribution of prasadam, of anything related to Krishna, of course the books, is in a subtle way purifying the atmosphere, which help the people in general to soon develop some faith. It's called Agyata Sukriti. The faith comes to an individual person when he has accumulated some Agyata Sukriti. That means he has heard the holy name, he has taken a piece of prasadam. So the devotees are doing the greatest welfare activities, and although we may be impatient, then when are the leaders of the world going to take Krishna consciousness seriously and bring the golden age on this planet? Still, by doing their duty, they are confident that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will do what he has come here for, means to spread the golden age, to start the golden age of the Sankirtan movement, and then everyone will be very, very happy. I mean, yeah, the leaders of the world at present, they maybe even if some of them have some good intention. Of course, it's described in Srimad Bhagavatam that most of them in Kali Yuga, they are thugs and rogues. They just levy taxes, new taxes every day. They want to extract as much money as possible, and for their own pleasure, for their own sense gratification. But even if some of them have a little bit of tendency to want to help the people, you know, we've seen maybe in the past some leaders who were a little bit pious and who actually cared a little bit for the citizens, even though in this Kali Yuga it's very rare. Because they don't have the knowledge, they cannot help. Because material understanding of help is not sufficient. In the bodily concept of life, how can we help someone? How can we save someone from drowning by just taking his clothes out of the water and letting him drown? So yeah, this Srimad Bhagavatam is so important, and if we read it regularly, if we hear it from it regularly, then we will get the actual benefit. So, I don't know, maybe you have some comments or questions. We can don't hesitate to participate in the discussion. Actually, we are supposed to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam from different angles. Like, there's so many topics which are discussed that we can understand from various angles, and which will nourish us spiritually. Explains in the purport also is explaining that even Shankaracharya, who is Lord Shiva himself, but who came for the purpose of spreading monism, he admitted that what he had preached is actually cannot help one at the time of death. At the critical hour of death, one must recite the name of Govinda. This is the recommendation of all scriptures. This is, of course, an important point, that whatever we are doing is to be able to remember Krishna at the time of death, to be able to either utter the holy name, or if we are not able, at least to think of the holy name or to hear it from the kind devotees who could be around us at the time of leaving the body. This is really the ultimate benefit, is to go back home, back to Godhead, and by hearing the holy name of Krishna at the time of death. Shukadeva Goswami was actually the most qualified person, the most pure. So generally, we ask the person who's more advanced to recite Srimad Bhagavatam, because the persons who are hearing will get benefit. And of course, in our Krishna consciousness movement, in our ISKCON, Prabhupada has established that everyone is going to give class in turn, and then we can, like that, learn to recite Srimad Bhagavatam and also discuss together like that. And we don't always have a very advanced devotee, so we take turns to recite Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukadeva Goswami was really the highest advanced person. He was not on the Bali platform, and even though he was very young, all the great sages who might have been very, very old, they gave him respect, and they understood that he was the most advanced to give the highest knowledge, which is to recite Srimad Bhagavatam. So, spiritual advancement does not depend on any material qualification, whether you're old or young, or you're a man or a woman, or you have this body or that body, but it's strictly on the basis of spiritual advancement. And Shukadeva Goswami was completely out of the body concept of life. Anyway, any topics? Pataji?
Yes, I've been very confused these past days, because in the past we were coming because we wanted to know about Krishna, we wanted to make some advancement. Nowadays, there's a lot of people who come here for other reasons. So you were saying you have to help people, but how can you help people without hurting their feelings, without pushing them maybe too far? When you really want their best, but at the same time, it's very confusing to me how to do it.
You're speaking about people who are coming here, for example, or anywhere?
But not necessarily those who are just passing by, but those who are kind of staying, but obviously they don't want to put Krishna in their life. They don't come neither to Kirtan. At least Kirtan, compared to Kirtan Prashad, at least if there was that, they come for Prashad.
You're talking about woofers?
No, because they pass.
Right.
But the one who are staying, those who are staying.
Yeah, of course, spiritual life is something voluntary. So anyone who comes is extremely fortunate, and because he has come somehow or other. So maybe in the beginning, some of us come and are enthusiastic about spiritual life, and then after some time, maybe some of us think that maybe there's still something to gain from material life, and but spiritual life is important, and they have faith. Otherwise, they wouldn't be around. You know, you don't see any faithless person come only or by chance or by agyata sukriti, but otherwise they have some type of faith. That's why they are coming once in a while. But for some reason, they are not taking very, very seriously. So how to help them? It's not an easy task, because spiritual life is something voluntary. As you said, we cannot push them, we cannot force anyone. So how to inspire them? That also, you know, even in the presence of pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, some devotees went away, you know, for some time. But once they have been connected with Krishna, Krishna will bring them back one time, or one day or another, whether in this life or in another life. So what we can do is only, how to preach to people. It's we can speak with them and see what they think, and if they have some doubts, we can try to help them. But ultimately, they have to make the step, right? If they are inspired, they will come again.
I'm talking about those who are not living but staying here, but in their dimension.
So, sorry?
In their own dimension.
Yeah, of course, it's what can we do? Maya is extremely powerful, and we have to pray, for ourselves, and we have to pray for others, and inspire people to pray also for themselves. Without the blessings, we cannot do anything. So, our Gumaj is very often insisting on the fact that we should pray, always pray for the mercy. Because the mercy is really important. It's not just our practice. What can we do? What can we do? We don't have any so much Shakti to practice sadhana and elevate ourselves like some yogis. They are thinking that by their very strong and disciplined practice of spiritual life, they are making advancement. But actually, no. It's only by the mercy. We make an effort. Of course, we have to make as much effort as we can, but we have to always be aware that my efforts are nothing. I'm not God, like the impersonalists. They think they are God, We're the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of God. When we realize our tiny position, then it's natural to ask for help. And actually we should be we should, preaching to myself, of course, we should be asking for help all the time, 24 hours a day. Anything else? Does that reply to your question, Mataji?
No. Yes, very good.
Yes, yes, no?
A little, but
Okay, then maybe
when you see Arjuna, he was Gudakesh, Arjuna was a cooker of sleep. So I think in a community that is small, and you getting more and more people who outnumbers the number of devotees in that, and they are kind of establishing a certain mood, like this sleeping, sleeping during this morning program, not even coming to one little things in the morning program, getting up just for breakfast, sometimes not even taking a shower. And it goes on for months, maybe it's going to go on for years. The newcomers can take the mood. That mood also is more easy. know.
Mm.
So how us, little number of devotees, what can we do in that situation?
Well, maybe we have to find the proper balance. In the past, I remember when we joined, it was like very strict, maybe over strict. I mean, someone sleeping during Mangalarti, they, 2-3 devotees would, shake him up, put him under the shower. Yeah, I mean, it was like maybe too strict, but after, sometimes too strict, after it becomes the other way. And maybe now, for many decades, it's been the other way, like too slack. So maybe we need some devotees. Of course, it's not easy for the leaders because it's very difficult to keep someone. Prabhupada said you should never push someone away, so you have to be careful not to, be too strict also. But I mean, I think that we should speak to the devotees, at least the authorities, because not just anybody can just make the rules, but establish some rules. Not really strictly, but like Prabhupada was very strict, but at the same time very lenient. So, like, tell the devotees who are doing like that, this is a temple, and if you could please, try to come for Mangalarti, at least take a shower before you come. Basic things we need to teach the devotees, because sometimes we forget, Maya is so powerful. Some devotees, sometimes they even forget that we have to be vegetarian. Of course, maybe not those who are living here, but those who are a bit away, we have seen. Some they are completely... So, because Maya is very strong, we should remind ourselves in some way. We should explain to the newcomers that, it's nice to be clean, there's some rules, we should take a shower after going to toilet. It's very impure and very offensive to the devotees and to the... I mean, these basic things are very basics, but actually they should be reminded, because especially in France, here in this countryside, we are a bit... we have bad habits. I mean, we were hearing some old report, television report in France, how that was in 1960s, how they were interviewing people, how in Paris there was like something like 30 or 40% of the lodging that had no running water. So it's like, it's worse than in India. At least in India, they take a shower somehow, even in the street if they have to, or in the well. But in Paris, and many, maybe 60% didn't have a bathroom, and they were interviewing people, the French people, saying, "Yeah, I think it's not a luxury to have a bathroom." And then one person who was obviously a celibate, he was saying, "Yeah, I think at least for the families, I think it's essential. I mean, if you're single, it's okay." That means, I mean, I remember when I was born. Actually, I was born in Paris. Also, there was no shower. We were living on the fifth story of a building in Paris, and a little bit outskirts. And my father was studying with the candlelight in the night. He was in the army, but in the night he was, well, maybe it was after his army, but he was working and studying to get more diplomas. And then my mother, she would climb up 5 flights of steps with her groceries, with my sister in one hand and me inside the belly. And then going to shower, that was like maybe we had to go to the public shower. And that was really, that was like, and then they were interviewing the politicians on this TV show, and they were saying, "Yes, I think we we believe that maybe one day, I mean, we are confident one day everyone in France will have a bathroom. Because everyone has a car, but not everyone has a bathroom. So, anyway, to come back to the point that you mentioned, we have to preach, we have to somehow or other explain things that, Prabhupada wants these things. And I mean, it's like, in the beginning of the movement, all the devotees were helping each other, to teach each other all the time. We have to do that, you should, you should take a shower, you should this, you have to be clean, we have to, and explain things that Vaishnava etiquette, all these things, and we should be happy to learn, from the senior devotees. Oh yeah, okay, I'm going to practice this, but yeah, maybe we should very nicely, kindly remind those devotees who have forgotten, that there are some rules in a nice way, without, hurting them or for.
It's not easy. So.
Not easy. Prabhupada said preaching is not easy. It's not an easy thing. And we can only rely on Krishna actually, because we realize whatever we do, we cannot do anything. So in the matter, as I was mentioning before, we are completely helpless. So in the matter of preaching, like Prabhupada, when he came to the West, he prayed to Krishna. He said, how can I change these people? They are in ignorance and passion. I cannot do it. But by your mercy, they can get some taste of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and when they hear, then they will become purified. This is exactly what happened. Prabhupada attracted some hippies. In the beginning, they were not hearing, they were just stoned. But they were hearing somehow the Mahamantra, they were chanting, and slowly, then they became attracted to hearing Bhagavatam, and they became more and more purified, and then they realized more and more the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't know whether it...
Because what's happening, because I talked to devotees before, we had a lot of devotees coming from Paris or stuff,
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't feel inspired to come because they wonder what's going on.
In New York.
And myself also, sometimes I am surrounded of people in the guest house who don't get up and don't come don't even want to talk about Krishna, So you feel, what is this place about? At one point, I can understand people don't want. We used to have so many people coming from Paris before. Now they prefer to do their thing in Paris.
Paris, you mean devotees from Paris? Or?
No, for example. Do you have concrete examples?
I remember so many devotees from Paris, they were coming in big groups,
No, you are speaking of people who are staying here always. These people who were coming from Paris.
They don't feel inspired.
No, it's in winter they come, always. They feel inspired to see the deities, to see the people who are maintaining the temples. No, they are really inspired. And there are some period of time during the day, the week, the year, that is very low because it's winter. You don't think like that? It's because of that?
Yeah.
Some periods are very calm and slow.
Yeah, there's always some ups and downs in the flow of time. There's periods in the history of Vaishnavism. There's always some ups and downs. Like there's some periods where everything is down and then comes up. Srila Prabhupada came, and then when he left, it's going down. Then it's going to come up again. And we have to do our duty. We have faith that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement will spread for the next 10,000 years. but of course we are not. We may not be able to see the results immediately. It's also subtle, like Prabhupada was mentioning in this person, in this in the Bhagavatam. It's a question of some atmosphere is becoming purified, and one day it will happen. We just have to do our duty, and the movement will definitely spread. We have to be, but in the course of time, like 10,000 years, it's supposed to spread. 10,000 years. So now it started since 500 years, right?
No, 500. I thought it was when Krishna departed. No, it was from Lord Chaitanya. I am not sure.
Yeah, it started by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the movement. So it's about 500 years old. So 500, compared to 10,000, it's just a small fraction, right? So that means we are like the movement is like a baby still. It's like a baby. So we are confident that one day it will spread all over the planet, and then after 10,000 years, like Srila Prabhupada we were hearing this morning, the conversation between Srila Prabhupada and what was it? Anyway, Lochananda Prabhu was reading that Prabhupada was explaining after 10,000 years, gradually it will diminish, and Kali Yuga will become stronger and stronger and stronger.
It is strong, I think it is strong, but in the Western world, I think it's very difficult. I watch Mayapur TV, even in New Vrindavan. I live there, it was packed, the temple used to be packed, and now I see we have more people here during the programs than they have there in New Vrindavan. That is really, I saw so in Vancouver during Japa, you don't even see one person during. So here actually we're doing pretty good compared to. So in Western country, I think there is a lack of interest. It's spreading, but not really in the Western world. More
In Russia,
now it's the Indians are taking more serious.
Ita, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I have a question. If we're not inspired in a certain temple or community, should we go to a different temple or should we go out of the temple? Because I have a friend who's not so inspired by her community, but she wants to go to a different temple. Or maybe it's better to just do your own thing, or what's the best thing? Should you just stick to the same temple to do your duty, or should you go to a different temple for the sake of your own spiritual advancement?
Yeah, wherever you can be inspired, you should go there, wherever you get inspiration. And it's true, like Mataji was saying, that these days in the West, there's not so many temples like it was during Prabhupada's time, like really booming up. Otherwise, all the devotees would go there. And as you said, New Mayapur is not the worst place.
Not really.
Not at all. So that means because of we have some inspiration from it.
Since Lochananda and Namachaya and Gandharika and Janananda Maharaj, particularly who took over, it's a big difference.
Definitely. So, this is the hope that it will bloom. That's for sure. Like for example, there was in Vaishnava history, there's always some periods where dark periods, like the Prithu Maharaj came after the demoniac king. What was his name? King Vena. So during the reign of King Vena, it was horrible. People were suffering like anything. The Vaishnavas, they were miserable. But they were still practicing, and they were, at least, it's not as bad as But then after that, Prithu Maharaj came, and then when Prithu Maharaj was governing the planet, it was like the Vaikuntha. So we can expect that also, because Prabhupada says this movement will bring Vaikuntha back on the planet. It's the Krishna has appeared in Kali Yuga in the form of the Sankirtan movement.
My point is, I don't criticize the good part of what's happening here. I'm just
Observe.
a little worried that we also let grow another side of really Tamakun somewhere, you know. And we have to be careful of that also.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before, that we have gone from one extreme during Bhagavan Prabhu's time, where it was so strict, everyone was from Mongolarctic, everyone, otherwise they would wake them up, put them in the shower. So every single devotee was there, and then everyone had to obey, go on Sankirtan. Of course, we were young, it was a different time. So after that, it became, Bhagavan left, Prabhu left, and then it became completely down, no rules, nobody's doing anything, no inspiration. So it has to come back in a balanced way. That we should definitely encourage each other to follow the rules and regulations. But it's true that it's a very difficult task that Jananda Maharaj has come to this place where the situation is so down. So we have to be a bit patient and a bit tolerant. But as you said, we have to also, it's everyone's own duty. It's not just the authorities, it's everyone's duty is to try to preach each other. That's what we used to do when we were in those days. We would always preach to each other in a nice way. Encourage to follow. Yes, Prabhu.
So yeah, this is a good point, because many years I experienced myself. I was pushing devotees to come to the program, and then you become enemy of everyone. It's true. And after they leave anyway, because they don't want to be pushed so much. So it's better when everybody preach same thing, not only like all managers, so they have to do everything, But we are just humans, and we're not like I'm talking about myself, not some elevated, soul which can be heard by everyone. But anyway, I want to come back on your point, on your question, your friend, if she shall leave or she should, go to another place. Prabhupada was saying that without association of devotees, we cannot progress in the spiritual life. So, if she just want to do her own thing, obviously she will be in a comfort bubble. She will just do, and she will not be corrected by anyone, because if you by yourself, you think you do nice things, and you go in whatever direction you go, then nobody corrects you. But when you are with devotees, you will be corrected time to time, and that's maybe not comfortable, but that's blows your bubble that helps you to wake up. So of course, if she is not happy in some community, she ISKCON is big, society, and she can go to another place and try there as well. But the question is a problem in community or is a problem in here? Because we always see problem in others. That we should look why we have problem with others. So it's like it's very very subtle question. And she can try. And many devotees, when they try 1, 2, 3 plays, you can see if you not fit in any place, that there is something wrong with you. If there's only one place that you don't fit, okay, maybe this is a place as well, something not good. But if you go one place, another, third, fifth, 10th, and everywhere is everything wrong, something wrong that you cannot be happy or do, in a spiritual life, there's been some problem with you. So you have to work with yourself. It's not that, our purpose here is not change everyone around us. Our purpose here to change ourselves. And by our example, then we can, you know, try to help to others.
Thank
So
you
this,
so much.
yeah, anyway, this is my.
Yeah, it's also not easy for the young leaders of New Mayapur, because for devotees who have been there for maybe 40 years or 50 years, it's not easy to hear from someone who is much younger. So the ego is also there. So it's not easy. But yeah, definitely Prabhupada never mentioned that someone live alone without association. Even 2% compatible, he said, is better than 100 not compatible. But at least 2. It's either a family, either 2 devotees minimum who are inspiring each other, or living in a community. But there's no solution to live completely alone and not be connected with the temple at least every day. That will be suicide. It will not work. But never mention any case where where it's possible. Already with the association of devotees, it's not always easy to practice spiritual life. But Maya is so strong that alone is impossible. It's a hallucination, Prabhupada says. Living hallucination.
Yeah, there is one temple that she's very inspired by, so maybe she could try that one.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, like, sometimes it's easy to go to the booming temples, there's so much going on, it's so easy, you just do a little service, there's always like swamis coming. So is that sort of like being lazy to choose a temple that's much more easy to be in than a temple where there's a lot more to do?
I think where you are inspired spiritually is the place to choose. If you're inspired, to continue your spiritual life, you will be getting some help, some inspiration. Because spiritual life is not easy. Actually, it's one of the biggest challenge. It's the biggest challenge to try to go against Maya. So wherever you can find, if you can find a situation where it's less hard, where it's easier, then you're welcome to as long as it's beneficial for your spiritual life. And of course, you have to consult your spiritual authorities, of course, to make sure that you're not making a wrong move, and that you're pleasing the spiritual master and the spiritual authorities, of course. Because without their sanction, without their blessings, then it will be also very difficult. It will be a struggle. We need the blessings. We need the blessings. So, yeah.
What is working here is because there is Guru. I've seen also in Vrindavan, as soon as Guru is not there, that's become very difficult. But, so like you say, you have to ask your Guru, you want you there, is there. But here I can see how the disciples of Shanana Maharaj are doing what he wants, and this is what makes this place strong, because everyone is doing so much sacrifice,
Right.
They go to Paris, he wants Paris, he stay here, I told some devotee, why don't you stay here? They just said, I do what Maharaj say, and it's a thing, it's glorious, glorious.
Yeah. This is spiritual life. Yeah. The Guru is there, his disciples are obedient, it works. So for those who are not...
That's the only way, really.
Huh?
Before it was not working here, because there was no more Guru.
Exactly. You need a spiritual...
I don't say Prabhupada is not there, but a living Guru.
Yeah, of course, you need a spiritual authority, someone who's respected and who people can obey to, or take advice from at least.
And to have affection,
Yeah.
Affection, Guru is affectionate to disciple.
Exactly. That's how it works. Yeah, that's how it works. So, shall we end?
I guess yes.
Jai Gautam Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Bhagavatam.
I know I opened my mouth so you don't eat too much, but...
it's nice to discuss